What are the short-term financial habits, the things that you need to be doing every single day, every week, or every month that lead to long-term financial success? I've got those best practices, that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Your daily habits, the things that you do sort of repeatedly, that determines your result. That determines long-term your success or your outcome, the things that you repeatedly do. What makes someone successful? Their habits. And I was watching a podcast recently where someone was being interviewed. This woman was being interviewed about achieving financial success. And you know, there's a lot more. In order to be successful, it's a lot more than just finances. But yeah, that's what we're talking about here on the Wise Money Show. And so she was sharing that her mentor one day said, "What's your net worth to the dollar?" And she didn't know it. And he said, "Well, wait a second. You're trying to build wealth. You're trying to grow your net worth. How do you not know what it is?" And she was embarrassed. And he said, "You need to know every single day to the dollar what your net worth is." And so she began tracking it, and she shared that as she tracked her progress, she confirmed without a doubt that her net worth grew more because she was focused on it. Now, this might be an extreme example. In fact, if you focus every single day on your net worth, that might cause you some frustration because some of the ups and downs of your net worth are very much in your control. Some of it is not in your control, and it could be frustrating. By the way, all of our clients have their net worth updated every single day through some technology. That's because you want your financial life decisionable. However, it can actually, there's some side effects. There's some unintended consequences if you obsess and focus on that number and see the daily swings. But if you want to grow something, focusing on it and sort of measuring it, is there something that you should be doing every single day in your finances? Or what about every single week? Or what about every single month? If the habits do lead to success, well, what are those short-term financial habits that we should all have? Well, on a daily basis, there's really only one thing. Now, you can add to this, but I would say there's one thing that you need to do in your finances every single day, and that is to check your bank account balances. Check your bank account balances. And this isn't part of your normal habit, I'm assuming. But here's why I would tell you that you should. And back before technology, before you could log in and pull up your bank account online and look at all your transactions, and I know I'm talking a long time ago, you always had a balanced checkbook, didn't you? You always balanced your checkbook. You had to know how much money was available because you had written checks and they hadn't been cashed yet, and so that money hadn't been withdrawn. You'd just made a deposit and you needed to calculate your balance to see then how much could you spend. It was a very manual process, and you always knew where you stood with your finances. And with so much now being just swipe and electronic payment here and transfer in and transfer out, we've lost touch of that. But knowing where you stand, how much money you have in the bank, what your balance is in your checking account or savings account, knowing that on a daily basis is vital. So I would encourage you, if that's not part of your habit, I'd build that habit in. So you know where you stand. And then there's the secondary benefit of also just having an eye on your transactions, knowing where your money's going to ensure that, hey, yep, that's accurate, or no, I've spotted something suspicious here that I need to look into. So on a daily basis, I'd be checking your bank account balances. If you miss a day or miss a couple of days, no big deal. But if you build that habit of checking your bank account balances each and every day, you'll always be on top of your finances. So that's what I would do daily. Weekly, what I would do, updating your budget. And hopefully you're using a system for this. But if you've got a monthly spending plan, a monthly budget where, all right, we've got this much money coming in, and here are all of these fixed expenses, and here are all the variable expenses, so that the financially everything's going according to plan each month, or when things don't go according to plan, I can visibly see that. You need to then occasionally get an update to say, well, we expected we'd spend this much going out to eat. here's where we're at. We expected to spend this much at the grocery store. Here's where we're at. Expect to spend this much on filling up, for fuel and gas and all that. And here's where we stand. I have found, yes, if you've got technology that allows you to do that daily, great. But oftentimes that's a little too short notice. So I found that once a week, tuning into that to see where you stand gives you visibility. Yep, I have clarity on where I stand, but also visibility to say, oh, actually, we've already spent the full amount of this month's budget on going out to eat, so therefore we need to recalibrate. So I would do that every single week. I would tune into the credit card every single week as well. You might think when I said daily, check your bank account balances, you might have thought, okay, well, daily I can check the credit card. You could do that as well. But what I found is, and it really depends on you. Your credit card, you might use a little more infrequently than your debit card. And so tuning into that every single week. And then lastly, third thing that I would do every single week is setting money aside for known upcoming expenses. This is, if you're familiar with our 3 bank account system, your checking account is your immediate spending. That you should have a budget for that. But then that second account is your delayed spending, where you've looked at all of the upcoming non-monthly expenses, things like anniversaries or vacations or Christmas gifts or birthdays, insurances, those sorts of things that are coming. They're not financial surprises. They're not emergencies, but they don't happen every single month. So you need to save up in advance. I like to break those down by 52. I like to break those down weekly and save a little bit into that delayed spending every single week. That should be an automatic transfer from your checking into your savings or from an income source into your savings account. So if you're checking your bank account balances every single day, if you're updating your budget and you're checking your credit card and you are saving for known upcoming expenses every single week, then what's left to do on a monthly basis? Save up for those long-term goals. Saving up for those long-term goals. Those goals that are going to take a long time to achieve, that habit of saving up every single month. Now, most of this likely is coming out of your paycheck going into your 401k or your whatever retirement plan you have through work. And whether you get paid bi-weekly or weekly or monthly, that's fine. That absolutely is one of those habits that leads to long-term financial success. So in here on a monthly basis, also any other long-term goals that you're funding outside of your paycheck. So this could be your Roth IRA. I would set that up ideally where you're saving automatically each and every month a little bit, a few $100s every single month into your Roth. Maybe you've got a goal of saving up for college expenses for your kids or maybe grandkids, doing that on a monthly basis as well. Any long-term financial goal, breaking it down so you're saving automatically on a monthly basis will help you get there. That's building the right habit. So here's the question. With that framework in mind, are those the financial habits that you have? Whether you're doing the update or checking your bank account every single day or whether it's a little bit more spread out than that, do you have habits of checking where you are financially, saving up for known upcoming expenses, making sure that credit card doesn't get too high, and saving for your long-term goals? Those are the things that you need to have habits around, as those are the habits that lead to long-term financial success. And here's the good news. If you listen to this and say, oh my goodness, that sounds awful to me, well, your certified financial planner loves that sort of stuff, and likely they've got a framework to either do that stuff for you or make it super easy for you to do. So work with your certified financial planner on that. Build those short-term habits, those almost inconsequential little activities that lead to that long-term financial success. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.